TBTL Week in Review. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the TBTL Week in Review video series. I am Andrew, joining you from my studio in Seattle, and on the other side of the screen you can see another boy who's in Seattle this week, although not here with me. Luke, you're joining us from a hotel room with sketchy internet, I hear.
Well, the internet is sketchy, but the lighting is golden. I feel like I'm joining you from, it's not heaven, but it's somewhere heaven adjacent. Because it's either, the choices in this room are far, far too dim, or me blasting myself with the lamp. So that's what we're going to go with. I hope the aesthetics are pleasing to our guest, who is in fact a visual artist, and who knows a thing or two about aesthetics. It's our friend Sierra. Hi, welcome to the Week in Review.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. And the aesthetic is top tier.
Oh, gosh. Well,
yes,
now
the golden light is doing amazing things for you right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a little. I look like I stayed in the tanning booth for maybe a couple of minutes too long. It's amazing. I don't know if either of you have you stepped into a modern tanning booth ever? Is this something either of you have done?
Well, no, for obvious reasons.
Yes.
I don't need to be
There's not.
stepping into
Is
the
there?
tanning bed.
There's not a there's zero need for high melanin folks to step into the tanning booth, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah, I should.
Well, look at me. I go about 3 times a week. You should see me when I don't go to the tanning booth.
They have, because I have to do this stuff for CBS sometimes and there's no makeup budget. I have convinced myself that the look for me is to have a little bit of vitamin D, a little bit of tanning happening. So I can actually speak to this. First thing that happens at a modern, none of this is the Week in Review, Sarah. I apologize. We're already wildly off topic. But one thing is they always want to make you sign up for a month. They're trying to get you to sign up for a monthly plan where you literally just could tan all you want. And I'm like, that's fine if I'm going to Old Country Buffet. I don't want unlimited tanning privileges. This is not going to be good for me. And the other thing is they have this technology now where they have a booth you stand up in for 4 minutes. And it's like, and sometimes I'm like, well, I'm paying $30 for this. Can I do 5 minutes? And the woman goes, you don't want 5 minutes. It's too much. It's too much for you. And so I look like I've been in it for 5 minutes right now, but I haven't. It's just the lighting.
Wait a second, you're right. We are way off topic, Sierra. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your art. I want to hear about what you want to react to that you heard on TBTL this week. But wait, do we have TBTL breaking news? Boy, I wish we had a sound for that. You've been have you on a somewhat regular basis been getting tanned, Luke?
I have been doing it less. I don't think I've done it in maybe 6 months, but there was a period of time where I would go in maybe like once in a month. And the idea was, if I had a little bit of color, a little more color, it would make it so that when I was on camera, I would maybe feel like I was a little more okay with how I was appearing. But what it did was it was a view into the world of Palm Beach Tanning, which is a national chain. It was the one that was around the corner from my place. And I'll tell you, it's a vibe. The Palm Beach Tanning is a vibe.
I believe. I can't believe you. I can't believe you didn't mention this on the show. Were you
I'm trying to build an audience for the Week in Review video by sharing intimate and embarrassing details only here. You can only find it out here on Week in Review.
I'm pretty sure that my freshman year of college. Oh wow, my voice cracked there. My freshman year of college, as a welcome gift in our little like college post office boxes. One of the things was a tanning booth coupon to, I think it was Palm Beach Tan. And I went to a small liberal arts Christian college in Kentucky. So I was one of like 4 Black people on campus. And so I like pulled this like tanning booth coupon out in front of my friends. They're like, what are you going to do with that? Like, yeah. So it created a really like weird, like cross-cultural moment early on. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. Was there any kind of secondary market for that? Like, were you able to trade your like roommate or anything for something usable?
Yeah, I just gave it to one of my friends because a lot of my friends at that time were really into tanning beds. So I was in college like 2007 and 2011, and so like tanning beds were still like really popular.
Hmm.
I feel like they're less popular now because like now like you can do all sorts of like at home like
Yeah,
self tanning.
spray
Have you ever
tans.
gotten into like the self tanner, Luke? Like the like bottles of self tanner?
I did, and I nobody could have known that this would be so much of this week's content. But
Yeah, yeah, I'm
that's what's
interested.
delightful.
I
This
mean,
should
this
be
is
called
not.
Welcome to the week in preview. This is the video where we talk about the thing we're going to be talking about next week on TBTL, which will probably be
Yes,
Andrew going, dude, you've
yes.
been tanning. Sarah, I did have a little. I danced with that devil in the pale moonlight in high school. My mom had a bottle of something called like self tanner, and we were going on a school field trip, like a camp out. And I was like reading the bottle, and it just said like a luxurious bronze tan. And I thought, well, that sounds great. And I slathered my body down in it and didn't know that there's all kinds of things about like parts of your skin that if they're calloused or anything will turn orange. And I just showed up at school fully orange and blotchy the next day. And that was the one time that I messed with the self tanner, and I learned my lesson.
Sarah, I want to ask you in a moment about anything you want to talk about or react to that Luke and I talked about on TBTL today or recently or this week or whatever. But really quickly, can you hold your fingernails up to the camera again? Those are amazing. And I wanted to see if I could parlay that into a little shout out for your Instagram and your new newsletter because you're an artist in Cincinnati. I don't know if we mentioned that. And I'm a big fan of your art. It's just, it pops. It's so much color. It's exactly everything that I love, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, you can see some of my art behind me there on the wall. That like super neon pink piece. Yeah, so I am a lettering based artist mostly. So I usually am working with words. And I have a new newsletter. So the name of my artistic practice is Pretty Strange Design, and the name of my new newsletter is Strange Delight. So it's all sorts of cool, like weird little things that I'm delighted by from life in general, like my journal, and also like pieces of pop culture, like things I'm reading and listening to and watching, and my favorite weird corners of the internet and places like Reddit and Tumblr. When's the last time you heard about Tumblr? Like, I'm still using Tumblr.
Andrew, I'm sure, has a Tumblr that's still active somewhere, don't you?
I have a Tumblr that I update about like twice a year or something. I actually let me ask you. We're never going to get to your topics. Let me ask you about Reddit for for a second, because I've been having some thoughts about that just in the past couple of days. There was some local story about some reckless driver who's also like considers himself sort of an Instagram influencer. You were reading about this guy, right, Luke, the Hellcat guy?
Reading about him, I'm trying to find him to bring vigilante justice to this car situation. He's modified the car to make it even louder than normal, which makes me so irrationally mad because I already don't like loud cars, and this one's extra loud.
Yeah, and he's like literally, I think the cops pulled him over finally going 107 miles an hour in downtown, or this downtown area of Seattle, where it's like obviously like 25 is the speed limit there. But the reason I'm bringing this up in the context of Reddit is because he became both a scourge of the neighborhood, but also of the Seattle Reddit community, where people were like talking about updates about him, and like it sort of seems like this story sort of started in the Seattle Reddit subreddit, I guess. And it kind of got me thinking, I think I've been using Reddit a little bit more myself since I kind of got off Twitter, and a lot of people got off Twitter. And I sort of feel like it's in many ways better than Twitter because you can have something very broad, like this is a community that cares about Seattle writ large, or maybe even Washington State. Or I belong to a subreddit called The Front Fell Off, which is a bunch of people who are obsessed with one joke from one like British sketch comedy bit from 1970. And it's like, that's a whole subreddit too. And I'm just kind of like, this might be better than Twitter. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So I too have left Twitter after the erratic billionaire bought it. Billionaire. Um, so so I was like, I'm done with Twitter. So yes, I wholeheartedly agree that Reddit is a better place than Twitter, especially now. I find that Reddit is generally a really positive place. Maybe it's just like my particular side of Reddit, like similar to how like your side of TikTok can be like wildly different from someone else's. But yeah, so yeah, I'm on a lot of like art Reddits, a lot of like cat related Reddits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cat mother, so very
Yeah, how's
Reddit.
your cat doing? What's your cat's name?
She's great. She's actually begging to be a part of this conversation. She's
Begging.
like
I'm begging.
I'll slowly back away from the conversation. Happily, I'll happily pass the baton.
she's like been sitting.
Aw. There she is.
What's her
There
name?
she is.
This is Painter.
Aw.
She has one eye.
Oh.
Before you
Hi,
ask about
Painter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Painter, I've seen in your Instagram photos and stories quite a bit. Kind of your right-hand kitty when you're
Yes.
working on projects.
Yes. Okay. So I think she just wants to be in my lap. But
Aw.
yeah, whenever she hears me talking to people on meetings like this, she usually gets really interested and comes over. I think it's just like the other voices. She's like, "Oh, someone else is in here." So
I
yeah,
love it.
I wanted to say hello.
I love it.
But yeah, so a lot. I would say most of my Reddit is cat related. Actually, like Meowser Trousers is one. I shared about that one in my newsletter, or Painter did. Painter has her own corner of the newsletter where I'm her ghostwriter. But yeah, so I get like a transmission from Painter, a mental transmission. I write her corner, what she's thinking about, you know. So this month she's been upset because I'm no longer buying her fancy organic tuna because it's too expensive, okay? And the rent is too damn high right now. So, but yeah, she's not happy about that change. But
Yeah.
anyway,
most of my truths that I'm doing on Truth Social are about cats too, but nobody's asking me about that.
Do you know? I mean, I'll bet you do, Luke, because you've made more references to Truth Social, so maybe you've like done more reading about it than I have, which is virtually none. But somebody grabbed a screenshot from Truth Social the other day. I don't remember what it was, and it's not worth mentioning, I promise. But I didn't realize that, like, if you want to retweet something, it's called retruthing it. Like, they really just took. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's just so funny. They just took Twitter and they just replaced everything with the word truth. Hey, could you retruth that thing?
It would be funny if it wasn't being used as a financial instrument to enrich this guy. Like, other than that,
exactly.
It is without meaning to be the funniest thing that's happened is talking about, hey, I just truthed something on Truth. It's like smurfing.
Right.
Hey, I just smurfed one of my Smurfs on Smurf Social. Except, like everything with him, there's a much worse element to the whole thing. But I could talk about tanning in Truth Social all day. But
Smurf Social.
We are technically here to at least touch on one or two topics from the week. Sierra, was there anything that seemed of interest to you this week that we can circle back to?
Yeah. So I definitely need us to touch on the undoing of J-Lo, the mass roast of roast that has been happening on the internet over J-Lo and her documentary. It's turning out to be more of a mockumentary. What it's kind of like bittersweet about it, I guess, is it's opens up into this world of like how much people in a celebrity's life in their orbit will hype them up to the point that they put something out like this and it gets through so many people. And because like everyone around them is like, well, most of the people around them are paid, right, by them to be around them. And so they're like, oh yeah, this is amazing. Like, this is the best documentary, that it's going to be better than Beyonce's Lemonade. Like, I'm sure there were people like around her talking about how amazing it was. One like highlight from that is I saw a clip of this on TikTok of this scene where J-Lo needs a bunch of she needs a muddy environment for a part of her film, and she's asking someone on set like, okay, how muddy is this mud gonna be? How and so people have been like, roasting that, and then like part of her hype crew is like, you know what, the price of mud is about to go way up, y'all.
Oh no.
The price of mud, the price of mixing dirt and water together,
Because
way up.
because this is going to be
Yeah,
so fire. This moment is going to be
Oh
so
my
so
god.
yeah,
burned into the culture that
yeah,
and all these, I mean, here's the thing, and I don't want to seem super catty, but like in a way, even though this is kind of a obviously it wouldn't probably feel great to be J Lo in this moment, she has been injected back into the conversation in a way that she really was not. Like, no
yeah,
offense, but like I just don't think a lot of people had super strong feelings on her because I just don't think she was central to the pop culture conversation, which, by the way, as someone who's never been central to the conversation, I'm not acting like it's going better for me, but it's like, I almost think like nobody got up, whatever, a week ago and thought, like, I wonder what J-Lo's up to, or I wonder what she's ordering at the bodega. Like, and then everybody got together to be like, you look kind of silly, lady. And but on some level, we're all talking about her in a way that we were not 3 weeks ago.
yes. You know, all press is good press to some
Maybe,
people.
right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's not a surprise to learn that she's a bit out of touch since all of her songs are called I'm Not Out of Touch, and I promise you, I'm really, really not out of touch.
Right.
Like, it sort of seems like
Yeah.
she's been doffing protesting too much
Exactly.
from the
I will
get-go.
say that album she put out, My Bodega Order, is totally logical and something I do every day. That does slap. That slaps.
I felt weird about this one a little bit because I don't have a strong opinion on J-Lo one way or the other, and so I don't personally love like kind of swooping in. Like, I don't mind like roasting a celebrity if I have good intel on it, sort of. But like, you sort of brought this story to TBTL and I didn't have any context for it, so I wasn't sure if a lot of people were sort of like bummed that their hero had sort of fallen a little bit. But it sounds more like, oh no, J-Lo's doing J-Lo things and now we can all just have a sort of an innocent laugh, as you guys both alluded to, without like sort of getting too toxic about it.
Yeah. I would say
Yeah.
I was more upset by the allegations that came out about Lizzo. I think
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think because she has built a career off of like so many good thing like body positivity and like being a proud like black woman and like in the industry and like you know, being a black woman like into classical music and playing the flute. So like so when it came out that like she might not be like a that nice of a person or like even like worse things than that, like that was more disappointing to me because of like what Lizzo has built her career off of. And I feel like J-Lo, it's like J-Lo's like, I feel like she's been like, I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
this weren't as like high with J-Lo.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I want to keep this relatively short, but is there anything else that you wanted to mention that we talked about on the show this week?
Well, I guess I will reference my notes.
Even your
What a
notepad is
nerd.
brightly colored. I love it.
Okay, I have two more topics, so maybe we can choose. So
Okay.
baseball, because yesterday was the opening day for the Cincinnati Reds,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and I live downtown. I live blocks away from the Great American Ballpark. So so I was not aware that yesterday was opening day until it was happening, and I was hearing all the commotion below me, and I was like, "What's going on out there?" Like I was just like, I was doing like the downtown version of being an old man yelling from their porch, like.
Yes.
But yeah, it was opening day.
You
Um,
and Painter just like out
yeah,
on the balcony, like, what the
yeah,
hell?
exactly. So yes, it made me think about my own baseball memories because I'm from Dayton, Ohio, which is like 45 minutes north of here, and home to the Dayton Dragons, which
Mm.
has fed a lot of great players to the Reds. And
Oh,
my dad has had season tickets to the Dayton Dragons since the first season when I was in middle school.
Oh,
So
wow.
I
really?
have a lot of minor league baseball memories.
What do they do with the I've never heard of the Dayton Dragons before.
Yeah.
Do they have like a lot of fun, like kind of minor league games and stuff
Yes.
and races? What
Yes.
happens?
I don't know. I can't speak to it much now because I haven't I haven't been like a ton in the past several years. But when I was a kid and going a lot, they had all kinds of wacky games that they would play, like on top of the dugout, and on the
Uh-huh.
field. And they had like, gosh, I forgot the name. They always have like a weird name for like the games crew.
Hmm.
Like like the dugout crew, or like I don't
Uh-huh.
know, just like
The groundskeepers.
the staff that they
Oh,
hire, usually like people in their 20s that they hire probably underpay to like run these games
yes.
Hmm.
during like the intermission or whatever. An intermission, that's not what it's called in baseball. See, now you see how much I don't know about sports.
No, it is called the
Um,
intermission. You nailed it.
But
but yeah,
there's nothing more fun that, because I've been to a lot of Portland Pickles games now, and I bet you they're sort of similar to the Flyers in that to be one of those like 25-year-old kids who's just spending the summer coming up with wacky crap to do at the ballpark, like that just would have been my dream at 24 to just be like collabing with people, maybe some cute girls, just like about like baseball related stunts. That when I see those kids at the Pickles game, I'm like, you are living the dream, my friends.
when I was going to the games as a middle schooler, I once asked my dad. I saw these like little boys, like the bat boys, picking up the bats, and can I be a bat boy? Can I be a bat girl? I don't remember what he said, but like that was what I wanted to do the most.
Mm.
I wanted to be a bat girl. I wanted to break
Yeah.
that barrier.
Yeah, I know the Mariners have both like kind of bat boys and bat girls. And what do you call, Luke, the people who like kind of catch the foul balls along the first and third baseline? Is that a
I
bat boy
think
and
they
bat
would
girl?
call those ball boys and ball girls.
Okay,
That
yeah,
was always
yeah.
my dream, was to be a ball boy and to make a catch that got me onto like the sport. I was never going to be like on the Mariners, but I could be the guy who did like fielded a really hard foul ball and got on
Mhm.
Sports Center. That was the level of my dreams. I also,
Uh-huh.
by the way, didn't achieve that. So even those lowered dreams were unachievable for me.
Just keep lowering your dreams, Luke. That's what I do.
And it'll
It's-
land right here on the Weekend Review on your second recording, where you start by talking about tanning for 7 minutes.
I can't remember which. Yeah, I can't remember which video we talked about tanning. That was this one.
It was
Okay,
this
we
one.
really. we do
Regrettably,
have to-
Andrew, it was this one.
we have to wrap things up. Sierra, remind us once again how we can get your newsletter and where people can find you on Instagram.
Yes. So my name again is Sierra Leroy, and you can find me on Instagram at Pretty Strange Design, and my shop on Etsy if you want to buy some art. Is Pretty Strange Studio, but I'm mostly
Nice.
active on Instagram at Pretty Strange Design. So,
Very good. I'm a big fan. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get you back on here, okay?
oh, absolutely, I'd love that.
Take
All
care.
right.
Luke, safe travels back to
All right.
Portland, I assume, or back to, I guess, Southern
Well,
Washington.
up to Town Hall to do Livewire tonight.
Sorry,
and then-
I'm starting
by
your
the
weekend
time
too
this-
early.
By the time this hits the internet on Saturday, I will be all done with that, and I will be on my way back to Portland, where I'm going to be doing some quality lawn mowing and Mariners
Nice.
listening this weekend, and I just can't wait. So
Nice. Decompress.
yeah.
Find your center again, Luke.
hit the tanning
It'll
booth,
be
and everything will be good.
It'll be well deserved. And everybody who's watching right now, thank you so much for donating and supporting TBTL. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.